There are two types of power. We have intrinsic power, which you can call personal power, which is an inner ability. And then we have extrinsic power, something that is not mine, but it can bring me power. The ability of extrinsic power. For instance, extrinsic power, money. Money can give me power, extrinsic power. My status can bring me power, extrinsic power. My function, my job can give me extrinsic power. The point is, there is a big difference between this extrinsic power and the intrinsic power. The power we are talking about here, when we compare authority with power, is extrinsic power. Power that is given me by something that is outside of me, that is exogenous. When we speak in a company about authority and power, power has to do with the rank. Here we are talking about external power. A power that is given to me by my rank or my job. If I am a president of a company, or if I am a director of a company, probably everybody knows that the president is more powerful than the director. And then we have a director, and we have somebody who is under that director, and everybody knows the director has more power. So when we are somewhere in a group, or a community, or a society, everybody knows who has more external, extrinsic power. It's known to everybody. If I'm in an armed forces, everybody knows who's the most powerful. If I'm in a company, everybody knows who's the most powerful. This power has to do with rank. It's an extrinsic power. It's something I have. In many countries, we hear the president is the number one authority of that country. And then the president of the parliament is the second authority of that country. And then the prime minister is the third authority of that country. And then maybe an officer, okay, a police officer is also an agent of authority. What type of authority are we talking about here? We are not talking about this authority, we are talking about institutional authority. Because when we look at a president, a prime minister, or the chief of the parliament, or a king, or whatever, or a queen, they're considered an institutional authority, yet what they have is extrinsic power. What a president is extrinsic power. It's the power of the rank, of the function. If I take the president away, that person, imagine Stuart is the president. Stuart will have the power given by the rank and the status which is a president. I take Stuart away and now Miguel is elected. He will be the one having the external power, that extrinsic power of that function, given by the function. So a president, what he has is power. Little powers normally, depending on the states. In America, for instance, they have a lot of power. In France, they have a lot of power. In other countries, they have almost no power. In Germany, they have no power. The president has no power at all. In Italy, it has no power. In Portugal, it has no power. In Spain, the king has not much power. They have less power, but still have some power. When we are given a power because of our status, our position, we're given extrinsic power, many law constitutions consider that power as institutional authority. Institutional authority. But that authority is given by that external power that has to do with the rank. Yet, I can look at Stuart, who is the president, and see an imbecile. Or I can look at my president in my country, Miguel, and see an idiot, an asshole. Sorry about that, Miguel. I would never say that about you personally, but but as a president. Now, look, I know that he's got the external power, the extrinsic power, but now I'm not talking about his rank and about his status, his function, his job. I'm talking about the person. I'm not talking about external abilities. I'm talking about internal abilities. And when we talk about authority, we talk about what I am, what one is. And authority on the streets, if we ask people what authority is, most people consider authority as very negative because they associate authority with authoritarian, as you did, Bjorn. Yet, authoritarian would have to do with someone using external power. Someone who is authoritarian, a despot, someone who is autocratic, who is very directive, is using external power. He's using the power given by his or her rank. Now, to become an authority, and look, I said to become, this is given to me, it can be taken away. I've been appointed CEO. Now the shareholders don't want me there anymore. I stopped being the CEO. The power, the external power of the function was given to me. Now it has been taken away from me. I was the president of the country. Now I'm not the country anymore. I was not elected anymore. The power was taken away from me. So the power, this extrinsic power, can be taken away from me and can be given to me. So it does not depend on me. Now, authority has to do with things that only depend on me. And there are three things that I need to create authority, to become an authority. The first one is, and here we have similarities in the word, the first thing I need to be seen as an authority is personal power. Here we are talking about inner power, intrinsic power. This, I remind you, was the extrinsic power given by the rank. Now, what is personal power? Is my ability to communicate, to use my influence, the way you see me acting. These are skills, and very often soft skills I possess, abilities I possess. And this power, of course, needs to be recognized by you. So this one I have it because it was given to me by the rank. This one, I don't have it. You either recognize it in me or you don't. So my personal power is mine alone. It's what I am. Yet when you look at me, you can recognize me, that power, that inner power, or not. Should you not recognize that inner power in me, I will not be considered as an authority by you. So my authority will depend on the way you look at me and whether you like me or you don't like me. If you don't like me, as simple as this, you will not recognize me, authority, as that person, because here we're talking about the person, not the rank, not the job, not a status. So for me to be an authority, I need personal power, personal abilities, soft skills, charisma, whatever you want to call it. And I also need a second thing, which is, anybody has an idea? Something that is also only mine?
Knowledge?
Knowledge, yes! Knowledge. I need competency. Have you never heard someone say, I like that person because he or she is an authority in something, in a certain subject? Emily is my friend and she knows a lot of IT. And I need to buy a PC. And I go and look for her advice. Why would I look for her advice? Because in me, I see her as an authority in IT. So I think she will be advising me very well about the computer I should be buying. So I can see competency in someone financially, another one in IT, another one in soft skills in communication, another one in whatever you want that the competency of the person is. Now, to be seen as an authority in a company, I need both. If any one of my team recognize me competency and not personal power, my authority will be at stake. If anyone in my team recognizes me personal power and not competency, not knowledge enough, I'm not knowledgeable enough, my authority will also be at stake. I need both. Now, again, this is personal competencies. When we work in our company with Anglo-Saxon countries, Anglo-Saxon culture, it is a mess. Because the Anglo-Saxons call authority this. And they call power this. I will get to the etymological root of this word. This is not an Anglo-Saxon word. And the interpretation the Anglo-Saxons have done of this word is not the correct one, according to etymology. I've read some American writers describe authority as being this. So most Americans hate authority because they see it as extrinsic power. And especially when we are in America, it's always a problem. Anyway, whether we like the word authority and put it here or there, if we understand the meaning, we'll get rid of the word, right? Now, what is important here is that for me as a person working with a team, I'm a leader or a people manager, I need to be seen as an authority.